I also feel like I'm talking
that.
to like a Hollywood actress from like the 60s. And
You are.
But
I know,
that's
you
the
are.
fucking
Right.
problem. You know how much money I
But
spent
you know
on
when
her
you watch
therapy
it-
for that reason
You
alone?
are.
When I'm watching,
And,
dude,
that's why we need to talk to you about Ember.
Yes.
To avoid this.
Evan, wait,
Yeah.
let him keep going.
No, I'm just saying.
This is good.
No, you literally are like when you watch like old movie starlets and they're like talking and they're like wistful and captivating and they kind of have this like dreamy nature to them. That is like you. It's like weird to me. I'm like, whoa, I'm watching that.
Wow.
Like, and you know, it's almost like you assume they're putting on an act. But then you're like, well, then maybe you kind of they do exist in real life. Doesn't she give you that?
So now that you've acknowledged that, I'm going to come home and Robbie's going to be.
I love you.
Robbie's going to be in the mirror putting on makeup, smoking a cigarette. Darling, a cocktail's ready.
No, I love this. It's like,
Wait, it's true.
If I could have stomached it, my career would have been so
yeah,
much
you
better.
could have been the biggest.
If I took one for the team,
star.
we could have been living in Palm Springs. But I'm not taking that one anywhere for any team. All right. Are we rolling? Because I've now slandered a dead person. You got it?
Yeah.
You know what I love is
Release it.
See, you guys are
the amount of just like absolute dirt that is floating around that we have talked somewhere where you catch that first 5 minutes where I'm just like paranoid checking it always before the
well, first of all,
drop.
the beauty is your husband is your engineer.
True,
as well.
True.
So what's
watch
happening
yourself.
here?
It's the beauty and also potentially the biggest fight of all time if he forgets something.
So Kaylin and I are having a new relationship, and I'd like to think, like I love him, and I'd like to think that he likes me, but I don't know if he's like, you know, slow rolling a stockpile of shit that's going to just
after
ruin me.
After the new show drop, all of a sudden we've got all the clips.
And look at the smile. See, that could be a warm smile,
sketchy smile,
or it could be a terrible smile.
I think it's always safe to like err on that could be the case.
Yeah, it could be the case.
So like always be nice, you know, 'cause you never know.
Please.
Yeah.
Let me just do this thing. Hey, everybody, really fun episode today. I'm going to say that in advance because I believe it is. First of all, Bonfire Talks. I'm your guy, Mark. I'm sitting here with my what's turning out to be like my sidekick, although DeCarlo.
Right, don't tell Mark DeCarlo. Don't tell Mark DeCarlo.
But my friend Mark DeCarlo has been a guest, and he keeps saying, let's face it, I'm the permanent sidekick.
He's the co-host.
Like, no. But you've been on maybe more than him now. But today's really something I've been wanting to do, not just in podcast world, but like in life. So my guests are Jess and Evan Ambrose, who you know as your mom and dad.
Yes.
And for more context, you know Jess from Chatty Broads, which was a podcast she did with Becca, and then Grayson and you had Chatty Bros, which I was also a guest on. And that's how we met.
Yes.
And what was interesting is that I met Jess and Becca first. Then I met the dudes.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with both of you, like whole vibe. And my wife wasn't part of it all. I kept coming home and saying, I met this great couple. And
we'd always hear Robbie. And in all of your stories, I was like, I need to meet Robbie.
So we kind of joked about a double date. And then I had Jess on, as you guys, both of you who watch all of my podcasts. By the way, I want to tell you how you did. Jess was a guest because she was gracious, and Evan was supposed to come, but he had an actual gig, which is the only excused absence you can have in our business. And you just finished Coachella and everything, I think.
Yeah. So
music
we're
business,
recovering.
in the music business. He's far cooler than all of us.
No.
But we got us all in the same room. Robbie cleared her schedule for us.
Thank you, Robbie.
So we are going to talk.
Yes,
I love
it's
this.
time
I
to
love this.
chat it up. Because what I've heard, what we've always talked about is the similarities between us as a couple. I feel Mark and I are very similar. This is the vibe. And then potentially Evan and Robbie. Very similar. That's the energy that I've heard.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, I hear you're pretty yummy and delicious. So
Wow, I love that.
I'll take that compliment if that's you. And
That's
You seem yummy and delicious.
You
I'm
put
into
that
it.
in the bio. That is a high praise. Yummy and delicious. That's
yummy and delicious.
Can I quote
Emotionally.
you? Yes.
Emotionally. That's not a
yes.
literal,
Yeah.
like,
He'll take both.
I'll take whatever.
Sure. By the way, know that description must have come from me.
I was gonna say it sounds.
But turnabout is fair play because you know what he called me last time I saw him.
No.
Bubble bath Mark.
Oh yeah,
Right?
I did.
Because well, basically it's just a love fest.
Yeah, it really
and I
is.
think it's because
Getting into a warm bath. Baby.
there's a lot of parallels between our relationship and your relationship.
Yeah.
And but you know, in different chapters, different seasons, as the kids would say, right? So I love the fact that you guys have this really intimate and raw conversation with each other about life, love, and all things, which is rare in couples, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think people take the gloves off in relationship a lot.
Do you guys do that?
Oh, big time. In fact, we were just talking. We just
You put the
had
gloves
our,
on a little more these days.
Yeah,
Nice,
that's true. It's true. We just had our 12-year wedding anniversary, but we've been together
Congratulations.
for about like 18, 19 years. And we were talking about, you know, why do we still really love being with each other constantly? And obviously we like go through it, but like, what is it? And we were saying it's because we love talking to each other. Like that has to be it. That it's just like, you just like to talk. So like the person who I'm going to be with for the rest of my life, I want to enjoy talking with them all the time. Even when the times are tough, I can still talk to them.
You know it's I was just listening to you and thinking as I was layering it on us and thinking how it fits. And I think the truth is we do love to talk, but what gets us even through hard times is we don't dislike the anger too. I mean, we dislike it, but in other words,
wait.
Hold on. Let me frame that better.
Okay.
When it gets messy, I'm angry, you're angry, we're not centered, whatever.
Yeah.
We disagree. We don't do that in silence. We don't run from each other. We run to each other for joy and safety and love and all the stuff. But we also run to each other for confrontation and anger and processing the ugly stuff. So good, bad, or ugly, it's together, not separate. We don't do, I'm leaving, I'm walking out the house for a minute.
Right.
We probably should, but we don't. Do
You guys get into it.
Yeah, do you do that? You roll up your sleeves and you like...
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
No, I would say that like, I mean, we all have our issues. Mine is like, I don't get into it until I feel like I'm like, how do I say this? Like that it's more, yes, the long and short of it is, yes, I get into it. I don't like going to bed angry. I don't like going to bed with something hanging. It like eats me up.
Yeah.
But it also takes me a while to get to the place where let's talk about it. I'm really bad at like, something happened the other day, I want to talk about it. I'll just push it down. And
you will push it down?
Yeah, I'll push it. Like I won't
that's more like me.
I won't bring up issues.
Oh,
I'll kind of let it
down.
sit, and then like she'll bring up the issue, and then we'll get into it
over and over again until he finally.
So I'm a little bit like I won't go there until it gets to a place like where she's bringing it up.
You can't not.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I do feel like in general, when we first started dating, you were very much more wired to like talk it out and like figure out if there is a problem.
Well, that's
to hash
once
it
we're
out.
in it, I'm all about
He's
it.
fully
Like let's
in.
go
And
top to bottom.
I was the runner. So the way I was raised, very non-confrontational, passive, you run away always. And so when we first started dating, I would ice, I would run away. And then after being together for a few years, he taught me to like come together and have that conversation. And now we are almost in the reverse where I'm like, we're talking about everything.
Yeah.
But I feel so much better now in that way. I feel so much more healthy even coming in the anger in those conversations 100%. Versus just like going and hiding in my corner.
Let's talk
festering.
about what icing and running away manifests. Because that's what I think is really key here.
Yeah.
That I've learned from you. I come from the South, and my mom may she rest in peace, and my father, who's still with us, it wasn't about raw talk. It was about keep the peace and all that. So the icing and running away, what that breeds, you guys, because what we're trying to do is figure out how to survive life happier, okay? What that breeds is writing a soap opera and interpretation of things that now escalates into a fictional drama in the absence of communication.
Wow. That is a very, very perfect.
I was wondering where you were going with that. And
I also
you landed the plane very well.
Yeah, but
that makes so much sense. I was like, whoa, what's he talking about? Like, that is exactly it.
Yeah.
It's like when you walk away, all of a sudden the fantasies start going and everything starts exploding.
This
you
is not
just
a
write
safe
a
place.
script.
Yeah.
You write a script, and it's not true.
Yeah.
But little things like we went to see Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, cool.
And we've already talked about this, but I have to bring it up because the next day I had a fun hangover.
Yeah.
Like I had so much fun. And I said, do you feel like this? Like, does everybody feel like this?
Yeah.
Like all the songs are running through my head and I didn't want it to be over. But Bruce Springsteen, when he wakes up in the morning, he's kind of a normal dude. He has a cup of coffee. I mean, you can't live there.
Right.
And I want to wake up to a production number in the morning. Yes. I want to walk out of the bedroom and it be a production number.
Oh, interesting.
And
Which is
Mark does
very
not
much like
feel,
Ember, I
And
think.
Mark does not feel that way.
Can you expand on what you mean, like more practically? Like when you're saying, like, well, you want to wake up to what? Like, give me like a real life example of what you're talking about.
Practically
I will.
wants a production number.
I will.
Lights, cameras, makeup,
Orchestra,
props.
choreography, rehearsal.
Oh,
in the kitchen.
like actually,
Well, yes.
Like you want to like get into it and have fun.
This
Well-
episode is a cry for help.
No. I mean, Michael Jackson talked about.
Great.
No, Michael Jackson talked about this too because that's where he felt at home and comfortable and growing up the way that I did, that's where I felt comfortable.
Can I ask you a question?
That's my best, highest vibration self. Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
On the part where I was saying walking away as opposed to talking about it and creating a drama about relationship, where did it end up into production number?
I was talking about
Bruce.
Yeah,
how did Bruce Springsteen end up in the room?
Because that morning we really got into it.
That I don't remember. Okay.
I wrote about it.
That's a fun fact that helps me get some context.
It's part of
Yes, I wrote about it because
I'm like, are we really just doing another episode about Bruce Springsteen?
No, because I said something like, when the show is over, when the curtain comes down,
You feel
the magic ends,
Yeah.
and then you're left with yourself. And how do you recreate that? That feeling, which is not, and it's not an everyday.
But how do you get that high? That that zip.
That vibration, like that.
Do you want an answer or do you want an
No, I
understanding?
was just reminding you what that morning was like.
Yeah, I got it. But what that is absolutely what that is the thing we all share, that we alone are not enough. That you had a high and an excitement about life that was positive and I can accomplish things, but that was basically listening to Born to Run. Okay?
Wait,
hold on. Don't interrupt. Hold on.
Wait, what I was going to say.
Sleep.
Don't say that. Don't do the sleep thing.
Okay.
Sleep. Like
I
you just
won't
put you to
do
sleep.
the sleep
I won't
thing.
do that if you don't do the hold on.
Okay, well, go ahead, finish.
Roll over.
The feeling in the morning that you call the hangover, and I don't want to spend time on this so much because we did this episode.
Right.
But that feeling is the absence of an outside stimulus,
Right.
and the core power plant.
Yes.
You don't say is enough.
Right. Well, what I was going to say is, I said, "Do you feel this way?" And you were like, "Nope. Had a good time. Woke up the next morning, had a cup of coffee, and I'm going to play golf." So there you go.
Yeah. So then you're like, I need this production in the morning, and you're not feeling that way. And then
I just think
yeah.
that I don't know what I think about that. I think that
okay.
we vibrate so differently, and that this need for a heightened energy before it registers for you It's the difference between sativa and indica. Okay? Some people smoke sativa because they need to get it up.
Yeah.
And some people like indica to slow this shit down.
Couch. We call it couch.
Oh.
By the way, we didn't invent that. That's like a thing.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I feel like you invented it.
Yeah,
but okay,
like
so then you, Robbie, you have the feeling where you're like, I want to get that high, and you, Mark, you're like, I'm already
I need
buzzing.
to bring it down to where I can be in a room with other people and not blow them away.
Yes, this we can absolutely relate to. I need to be calmer because I literally have tachycardia where my heart is pounding 24/7.
Is it?
Yes, and so I'm like, I want to always calm down, and like the anxiety and whatever. And Evan is like, give me the rush. Life needs to be heightened constantly.
Yeah. Like,
I'm like, slow down, my guy. Like, I gotta take a breath.
I don't know. For me, it comes down to like, I'm trying to get away from the serious. I think that's for me. It's like the serious is not fun, and it's like working, and we're always just busy and doing all this stuff, and it's like it's awesome, and I love that. But it's like fun. Like when I die one day, I'm going to remember the fun times, not the like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the memories. It's the idea. It's like the things. Like, that's when I start to feel anxiety, is when I feel like I haven't done anything exciting in a while.
So stagnant is bad for you.
Enjoying life to the fullest.
Yeah.
Having fun. That's how I felt this morning when I put on this.
And you look so fabulous.
I love this.
And on the inside, it says you're magical.
Yeah.
So in case I forget.
See, by the way, you have something I don't have, though, which is like that.
She has that spark.
I need it. I'm an external guy. So, like, I am always looking for the external stimuli to get me there. You seem to kind of be having it from here. I need it here. So I'm constantly like chasing the thing to get me there.
Well, wait.
You're talking about productions in the morning and like having a jacket that says I'm special or whatever. And I don't have that thing. I'm looking for that thing. I want that. I don't have that thing.
The thing that's so crazy about this is that we got to go here.
You're going. Like anybody can stop you from going anywhere.
Okay, wait. I grew up with it all coming from the outside. Yeah. And then when it was over, because we've talked about this before, I worked as a kid in the business and blah, blah, blah. But when it was over at 11, I had none because it wasn't coming from the outside.
Yeah.
So I have had to learn how to... Life is an inside job.
But Rob, that goes back to the Springsteen thing, which is when you get an outside stimulation, it's like a drug for you, and you want more of it. And when if we go on vacation, if we go on vacation and we've got a 6-day vacation, on the 6th day, I've already turned the corner of packing up and going home, and Robbie's like, "Can we book 2 more nights?" I'm like, things have to change. You have to stop at some point.
Right.
Who says though?
Yeah, I love that.
I love that. You have to stop. I mean, it doesn't have to be staying longer on a vacation, but I mean, I come from a family.
But it should be.
That
we've done it so many times. It's sick. We did Temptation Island for a month, which is work, but I mean, facts.
More for one person than the other, which I love.
And we have dinner together every night. We're like at the beach. It's just like we look at each other like going, "This is the greatest thing ever."
Yeah.
And when it's over, I'm like, "That was the greatest thing ever." And Robbie's like, "We literally booked a cruise with 2 days' notice."
I love that.
We literally were in.
More
fun. And this is how fucked up it is. So we just finished the show. We're just like, wow, this was amazing. And I'm like, and now we're going to go home and it's going to be all good. And she's like, yeah, I can't go home yet. And see if we can get on this cruise. And there were 2 seats. Okay, so it's a Hawaiian Island cruise. Yes. Now, we've been on Maui for 40 days.
God, I'm so jealous.
We get up in the morning, the day we're supposed to go home. We fly to Honolulu to get on the ship that leaves and goes for 2 hours to Maui. For an overnight, where Robbie said the ship isn't good enough. Let's get off the ship and spend the night at a resort in Maui.
Hell yeah!
Then we get back on the ship to do the other islands. I'm like, we have to go home.
You're making it sound terrible.
No, you know what's interesting is I'm only saying facts, and it sounds terrible.
That did happen. That did happen.
None of this sounds terrible to me.
Did I say anything that wasn't accurate?
It did happen.
Exactly as I said. And we had a blast.
We did.
Except when I thought we were going to get arrested.
Can I say, when we were engaged, we sang and danced on a cruise ship for 6 months together.
Really?
Whoa. Really?
So we're very comfortable.
Honey, there
on
are
the
certain
ship.
things about our life that don't need to be shared to everyone.
There's got to be some
I need the
footage of
footage.
this.
And we
need the
figured-
footage.
Hey guys, it'll be right here on the screen. Right here on the
We
screen. You'll see it.
figured if we could live
I was
on a
so bad.
ship for 6 months, we're going to be okay.
I mean, that feels very accurate.
But now, getting back on point about the running away and the vibe thing, the ship was a dangerous drug for me because it was escapist and it was plenty for me. So when we would get to port, Robbie would be the first one saying, I got to get off the ship and do something.
But this was a long
and
time
I'm
ago.
And I'm like, we don't ever need to go to land. And when I say ever, I mean decades. I can just stay.
Stay on the ship.
I'm the big guy on this ship. All the things I need are here. I don't ever
resonate with that
need
so
to do anything except
you could have
this.
just stayed on the ship.
If I wasn't
You would've
already
been the cruise director.
if I wasn't already engaged to Robbie before we got on the ship, right now
You'd still
I would
be on
be
the ship.
I would be on the ship, 300 pounds with leather skin and 70 illegitimate children. Because I would have just gone to the darkest version.
You would have just lived cruise
ship
life.
life.
I wouldn't have let
No,
you.
that's if you didn't exist.
Right.
Luckily, we were engaged before we went on the ship. We got off the ship July 23rd. We got married August 16th at a wedding that neither of us planned. We showed up like talent.
We were young.
Her mother planned it. We just showed up and like, where do I stand?
We were young. We didn't know.
It's great.
But
I still would have married you if I was old enough to know.
me too.
We kind of hoodwinked each other. Like, oh, I think we're supposed to get married now. Okay. And we did.
No, it wasn't like that at all.
Anyway.
No.
But I resonate with that because when I think about a cruise ship, I'm like, my pipe dream is to like live in a hotel the rest of my life, like stay in one hotel, and just I would never leave.
You can.
And I know, but I can't with him. He'd be
They also have a child and a life.
Because you can. That
making
was the
my
best
dreams come
answer
true.
anyone could have ever given. Is you can. Like I don't know why you're creating this limit.
As a
in your
matter of
life.
fact,
Well,
we could do it
it is.
together, and I know where to book it.
Exactly. But I'm like that idea
Oh
of
my
staying
God.
where like everything, it's like anxiety reducing, but you could never. You'd go absolutely
You'd go
bonkers.
bonkers.
Yeah, he's got to be going out.
Like my brain, I'm two people in one, and this has been like my biggest struggle in life. Is like I'm two people.
Okay, who are
We
they?
all are though.
I'm sure.
Well, let me hear
definitely.
who you are.
But
I wanna
mine
hear
are
you.
diametrically opposed.
All right.
One is responsible, dad, husband, they're consistent, and one is like
Fuck it.
Hemingway or something.
Yeah, let's
You know
go.
what I mean?
Let's go
Reckless,
Kerouac.
insane,
Yeah, let's-
like addict. You know what I mean? Like that's the like. There's two sides of me pulling, which is just like no rules, nothing holding me back, do whatever I want all the time. And then one side of me is like complete opposite.
But
So like there's this absolute tearing constantly of like whatever I wake up to that day is like who I'm fighting. You know what I mean? So like that's the
But I'm glad you said it because especially people in your season where you're raising young children and you're getting life's next chapter, you're now not the 20-year-old, but you're not the season, like you're in it.
yeah.
There's this prevailing sense, you guys, that you're supposed to be the one guy, the constant, and a lot of us will live a life of go to work, do the things, all the things, church on Sunday, all the things, right? Be that guy all the time because that's what's expected. But all of us are two people, at least.
Yeah.
And if you don't indulge that, how can you be the father and all that? If you can't let that struggle exist, it's a lie to say, I'm going to be the constant dude all the time.
Yeah.
Barbecue on Sunday. That's
Right.
me. You can't be that guy. If you are that guy, you're lying.
I have to say something very important.
You have to pee?
No.
Okay, more than that?
Welcome
Yeah.
to the duality of life.
Yeah.
because
all right,
that's
Yoda.
what it is. I know, and you pulled me back when I leaned in. You
I
pulled me back.
I couldn't see.
Oh. That's it. Yeah. I mean, the duality of life is everything, and we all have it. You know,
but I do feel like Jess, just does a much better job of it than I do. Like we all have it, like you say, for sure. She has it too, but in her own way. But she's so much more like centered with herself, it feels like, all the time. Like you have these moments, these wild hairs that come up, or these things that you want to do when you're feeling maybe, let's say, restless or something. But on the day-to-day, your battle seems far less than mine.
Okay.
If that
you know
makes
what
sense.
It is? Maybe.
She's so much more calmer with herself.
Get it.
Than I am.
I get it. So if we all have a duality, if we all have an inner struggle between wilding out and adulting, let's do it blatantly like that. The part of us that resists the other part is where the struggle happens. In Jess's case, possibly, the acceptance of both sides of it and the constant conversation of the adult side acknowledging and approving of the but the other side and vice versa allows this to be less of your language it's a battle and yours might be a coexistence.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with just like growing up, the mental health struggles. I've done just a lot of internal work since I was really young.
So you've had to roll up your sleeves and do that.
Because I was, bonkers at a young age. So it was just like, that was always a battle. So I do feel like I've gone really inward for a long time, where I've tried to make more peace.
Or maybe less fear
people.
of that dark part, because you've seen it. So you can address it as opposed to suppress it.
Sure, or running away, because I can very happily sit in my melancholy. In fact, I enjoy doing that sometimes. It's too much sometimes. And you like to run from the discomfort, and I can kind of stay in it too long, where I'm kind of like, oh, hell yeah.
That's really great.
Well, I would want to ask.
I think I'm both of those.
Yeah.
I would want to ask about your internal dialogue, like what you say to you about you.
Yeah. First of all, I had this moment the other day when everyone was talking about how like you hear your own voice in your head. Yeah. I'm like, I don't. I don't hear my own voice.
You don't?
The thoughts just exist. I don't have an internal voice.
I can't even hear you now because of my own voice.
It's so loud.
No, I don't have an actual voice ever in my head. I just have like existing thought, like they're just there. I don't know. So anyway, that's a side note. But my like internally, always been hypercritical. Right.
That's the internal dialogue that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So hypercritical.
Well, let me hear more.
Are you critical about you?
You? So deeply. And that's been my big journey.
That's the voice.
It may not manifest as a voice to you.
Right.
But it's something other than your authentic self imposing a way of being.
Oh, I definitely
or
have
a
judgment.
judgment.
I don't have an actual voice in my head, and that kind of everyone was like, "Oh, I have a real voice in my head."
Good morning.
Like,
you're not enough.
Exactly.
By the way, that's a sign on of my radio station I listen to every day. That's actually my alarm
Negative
clock.
talk with Mark at 7
I set it for 7:15. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Today's Tuesday, and you will not be and continue to not be enough.
That person hates you. If you were wondering.
That voice.
It's so good, Em.
Yeah.
By the way,
so we have to.
And by the way, just saying that makes it that I can be enough.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Right.
And that's what I'm talking about. Is the acknowledgement of the thought takes the power. You know what I was saying is that when boy did I get a little animated when we were going.
Simmer down, honey.
I know I do that.
Wait, what do you have? Sleep, right? That's what they said. Sleep.
Take it down a notch.
You don't understand
too much.
the passive aggressiveness of this moment we're having.
Sleep. I'm going to do
when
that.
I was going through a really bad thing where I got hurt and it was a business thing and all that, and then I tried to retell it to Kaylin, and I couldn't retell it with the same venom I was feeling, is the power of saying, hey, it's Tuesday, you're not enough. And then you laugh at that you just said that, because once you put words to it, once you say out loud the fear, it becomes so much smaller and almost silly. That's the Buddha shit.
When I think that was where my voice, it started to change for me as I got older after doing the self-work, because I was so scared of what everyone has always thought of me. That's the biggest thing is, I think how I was raised too, it's very like, how do you appear physically to people? How do you appear energy-wise to people? That's always the obsession. And when I started to just right out the gate tell people what I'm not good at, and just be very blatant, or I feel really awkward in this situation and just immediately put it out there. I used to be super, super jealous of, when I'd see a beautiful woman, I'd be like, what if Evan is all, and I was so hyper jealous. Instead, now when I see a beautiful woman, I just go up to her and I tell her how beautiful I think she is. And it releases so much for me. And I go, great, now I have the power in the situation. She knows I think she's beautiful. She is beautiful. And now I can sit with myself so much more. And just, that the taking away of the power has been massive.
I'm so glad you said what you said for me to kind of get it, because I'm in it today. I got stuff to do today that I've given power to a fictitious situation. And by saying it out loud, you can't retell it as powerfully as it feels on the inside. And then it becomes smaller.
I mean, the first thing my therapist, who I just adore.
You're in therapy?
I adore forever and ever, over 20 years.
Wow.
As soon as we started talking, she's like, Robbie, stop criticizing yourself. Stop what are you
Let Mark do that for you.
You're judging and criticizing. Stop it. Because that's the poison. That's poison. And so
which I've been drinking at a slow drip.
You have.
My mother, it came out of her nipple.
Yes. I'm so sorry.
Although she wouldn't breastfeed me, so it came out of some formula.
I'm so sorry she did that to you. But I hate
mom.
when you become her to me.
Except the things about her that are great.
She just had a breakthrough moment there.
First of all, you're maligning my dead mother right now.
I loved your mother.
I know.
I loved
We
her.
both loved her.
But sometimes we become our mothers to each other.
Yeah, your mother was a crazy vaudeville acrobat. So I'm living with a circus freak is what happened.
No,
that's true.
My mom, I was specialer. Than everybody else. And your mom told you weren't as special. And that's why we're together, because I now can tell you how special you are. But you can't tell me that I'm not specialer than everybody else.
I love her.
Okay?
Man.
You can't.
I
It's
just
not
realized
true.
that's exactly what we do. You're constantly building me up, and I'm always telling you to calm the fuck down.
He becomes his mom to me. And I'm like, as soon as I become aware of that, and I'm like, no.
Don't pull my spark out.
No,
You cannot dim my. You can't.
Your special light.
You're pulling me back.
I can't see.
Okay, sorry.
I'm not pulling you back emotionally. Let me ask you this question. Wait, I lost it now because I feared my wife for a moment. Which of you is this? When Robbie is offered a correction, honey, can you tone it down? Or don't go there. She doubles down.
Not as much anymore.
Hold on a second.
Not as much anymore.
I'm begging you to let me ask our guest a question. Okay. Not as much. Everything we can qualify. Don't defend. You're wonderful. Everything about you is wonderful. Even your crazy is wonderful. I love you.
Thank you, honey.
Okay.
I love you,
but
too.
I'll back down. But if you say, like, we were on the golf course when Robbie thought she was going to play golf, and she couldn't play golf. That was okay. We're playing Roosevelt. It wasn't, like, serious.
Right.
Yeah, I'm talking
I
your
got you.
language.
I got you. Yeah, I know the spot.
And so hit, it goes foot. Hit, it goes a foot.
Sure.
And whatever, it's okay. And then the marshal comes on and says, can you guys pick it up? And I'm like, honey, just pick up your ball. We got to go. And when the marshal told her no, she's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm right here.
I'm playing real now.
You're going to have to take me out physically. And she hit the ball 2 feet.
Sure,
2 feet.
sure.
And it's almost like she hit it 2 feet and looked at the marshal like, you want this?
Right.
You want this smoke? Right? She comes from that. Which of you is that person? Like when you're told no, you're like, double down to it. Neither? Are you far more grown up than us?
No, I don't think it's a grown thing.
It's
It's inward. So like, let's say we're out somewhere and I'm doing something that's like, she's like, yo, babe, calm down. You're a little this. I'll get in my head, and then I'll kind of like, internally.
You'll save it for later.
You bury it deep, and then it comes out at some point.
Yeah, I'll look at that as like you're judging me as opposed to,
which we are, by the way. It's
right,
entirely.
But it's
that.
like instead of letting it roll off, I'll let it roll off visually, but internally, I'm like, why are you worried about me? Like, I'm just having fun. You know that I'm, I start like doing this thing, you know what I mean? And it could be just a simple like, hey, just whatever, just like a help. It's a help.
And it's not even about you. Here's what I've tried to explain to Robbie. So this is what happens. We were going out with other people. What Robbie sees in me is I'm like always comfortable and I can run the room.
Yeah.
What she doesn't realize is that I'm extremely uncomfortable at the onset of any public interaction, and my way to get through that is to be gregarious and say the right thing and make it all comfortable. What I'm doing is trying to exterminate the cringe for myself.
Sure.
Robbie has none of those senses. None of them. She's in a good way. So you just kind of if you're feeling it, it comes out of your mouth, and it is. And you hadn't been out of the house, and you came out with like I had a caffeine Coke energy, and I just railed an 8-ball.
Right.
I was having so much fun, and I was so excited that.
So me putting her in the box,
and then he was like,
"But
I'm not going to say what you said because it was terrible."
Yeah, I said, I'll say it.
No, don't say it. Don't say it. It's not important. Don't say it.
You can't tell me what to say on my podcast. I said, calm down. I like you a little depressed.
Yeah, right.
Now, okay, that was evil.
He was trying to
dim the sparkle.
Let me land this plane, Rob. Let me land this plane. The point I'm getting to is that thing that feels like judgment, that has you burn on the inside, has her outwardly say it in front of other people with anger, has nothing to do with your behavior. It has to do with my discomfort with anything I'm not controlling. That my discomfort with meeting new people, riding in a car with 6 adults, going to a concert where I feel trapped, all the same things you were feeling manifests in a way of
your mother.
No, okay, but try to hear me for a second.
I'm hearing you.
No, I don't think you are.
I am.
Try to hear this. Sorry you had to see this.
I love this so much.
I am trying to control you, not because what you're doing is inappropriate, but because I'm crawling out of my skin and I'm asking for your help to help me be comfortable. And what I need you to do in that, if I were healthy and I loved you more, I can't love you more, I would have said to you, honey, I'm really uncomfortable. Can you slow it down and be with me quietly till I feel comfortable?
Right. I was going to say we need a better
would you
signal.
Shut the fuck up and get depressed? I like it when I'm in charge and you're quiet like a subservient woman from 1950s. So put on an apron and shut the fuck up. Okay?
Well, we can work on that.
And by the way, Kayla's like, that's the clip. That's going out.
We can work on that.
Well, I think we just did.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping us.
So next time,
because I feel that way. I relate to Mark in the sense that when I am out with people, it's the pressure right away, where when I feel my anxiety is I have to walk into a room and feel out the energy. If the energy is off, I start to feel really anxious. And I'm a rule follower on top of it too. So I'm like trying to keep the energy in line, and I'm a rule follower. So if all of a sudden Evan is, let's just say, one of the typical examples, if we go out with friends and he has a couple drinks and he's feeling super loose, and all of a sudden his playfulness can get, you can like take it a step far.
Bigger.
Where he's then playful and he's shooting shots at people and he's having fun, but I feel like, are they taking it seriously? But I'm not actually worried, and this is
you're not worried about him. You're worried about how they feel.
But this is the dark side of me too. I'm not necessarily worried about like, oh, is that person okay at the moment? If I'm being completely raw and gross right now, I'm worried about like, how is the energy, and then the energy is going to make me feel uncomfortable.
We talked about this when you were here before.
Right? And so it's like, then I'm trying to be like, okay, Evan, stop. I think this person's energy's off, and for me to feel good, the energy has to be good always.
But I will say, Jess,
yeah.
what we're talking about here is ego.
Oh, 100%.
Because you're worried about what other people think of.
That's exactly
what
right.
Evan's what's going on.
100%.
That's exactly
and it's
right.
this weird mirror that all of a sudden, because I've always looked at myself as this person who's like very egoless and making sure everyone is like happy and comfortable, because I do love people.
Yes.
But then when I am really faced with the reality, I go, okay, how often is it me loving people? And then how often is it me
Worrying
really
about what
worried
they think?
about my ego, worried about what they think about me?
Okay, so this is what just opened up for me in that. Last time you were here, by the way, you were talking about you're going to a season of not pleasing everybody. Remember
Yes,
that?
yes.
And what we got out of that was that the pleasing everybody isn't for them. It's for us to look differently to them. And it's sometimes selfish. But what just...
And it's the damage of a child. It's the trauma of a child where you're having to constantly navigate. There's so much tension in the room, and I have to tap dance to make everybody happy in the room, and I'm trying to like get that out of me,
So
right?
this
To
is
be like,
the-
I can't be that little kid trying to make everybody happy in the
That's
room
right.
to ease the tension.
So here's where the disconnect and how that happens and manifests for you and me, okay?
well,
I would be that able
go
to say
ahead.
the second part.
Go ahead.
Is that I always talk about this thing that the kids like to call, which is being an empath, which we've also talked about. What that actually feels like to me, because I've been accused of being that and blessed with being that or whatever, what it feels like to me that I have witnessed that you don't sense in the same degree is that when I walk in a room with 12 people, there are 12 radios playing as loud as they can, all of which are demanding me to listen to them, and that makes me uncomfortable. I can't deny them. I can't discount them. You, on the other hand, aren't necessarily listening to any of those radios. You're playing your own music.
Well, says you.
No, Robbie, I'm speaking in generalization. You hear them, but they don't hold the same weight over you, the same power over you that they do to me. That's
true.
why things happen, and you're
They keep us
surprised by the
captive.
outcome because you didn't see it coming. And you're like, where did that? And I'm like, later I'll break it down and say, well, this is where they were at. And that's why when you did this, they reacted that way. And it makes no sense to you, but it's predictable to me. So what you helped me get to is that my anxiety in that situation is that thing that we think is so cute, which is being an empath. But what it is I give so much power to what I'm feeling from every single person, including the waiter in the room, that I am selfishly trying to make sure they all approve of me.
Yep.
And I can find the lane where I'm most comfortable. And then I become that guy. I'm throwing it around. And then I become less actually concerned with how they're feeling because I'm back in my skin. You are a bowling ball, a cute, tiny bowling ball.
Do you offend? Do you feel like you're nervous of her energy, and then it's gonna because you seem very
Absolutely,
but I'm
is.
saying, do you say things that are like hurtful to people or something?
No,
or like,
no, no,
okay.
no,
I was
no.
gonna say,
That
you don't
girl.
seem like that at all.
No, no,
so
no,
far
no,
from.
no.
That's what I'm trying to understand. I'm kind of going,
No.
okay, because
She doesn't.
He does.
I can.
Oh, I see.
Because I'll be like, I'll have fun, and like the way that I grew up was like roast each other.
Yeah.
Like
What's up, fat boy?
When someone makes fun of me, I feel loved. You know what I mean? Like so, like there's like
No,
that
it's
thing. So
not
sometimes I can kind of feel like we're all in this thing,
By
and then
the
Jess
way-
will look at me like I don't think they're in on the
I'm
joke.
like, they are not
You know
in
what I
on
mean?
the
And I'm like,
joke right
sorry.
now. You need to
So
stop.
I can be very guilty of like thinking we're all like we were when we grew up when I start drinking too much, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, she's giving me that look. So
Everybody's
that's why I was.
feelings are hurt, right?
Yeah.
Or
and then
it
pulling
can't
you
happen.
away,
Yeah.
Okay, no, it's different.
Yeah.
You can. How is it different?
Is it
for
more
you?
just that you're big?
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
you're
I
kind
have
of you're
a
trying to be
bright
like, this
light.
is
I
too
have a
big.
big
Too much attention to
That's
over
exactly
here.
right.
I have a big
Yeah, like-
personality.
That's why I
Throwing
said
off
that
the
line
energy
that
of the
was
room.
meant to be comedy. It wasn't funny. I like you a little depressed. I could hear my mother saying the same type thing.
to you.
Right, but it was more like being snarky funny. But what I was
Not
saying
funny.
is,
Right.
I'm what I should have said
If we could do it again,
I'm doing it right now.
Rob, I'm feeling
uncomfortable. Can you
just
can
tone
you
it down
roll
a
it back a little bit until I get in my skin? And you would have said, "Fuck off, Mark. I'm having a good time."
No. I was having a good time. I was having a lot of fun.
But
God, I love
that goes
it.
back to
Yeah.
my fear is I have witnessed her double down. If I say don't, she goes twice. Right?
No,
and
not
so then
anymore. Not anymore. I have not done that. My brother does that.
I'm
sorry, Gary. Sorry, Gary. You
Gary
do
just
do
got
that.
a shot from the bow.
I don't do that anymore. I don't.
No, I'm not saying that.
I used to be much rougher around the
Hold on.
edges.
Right.
I'm not saying
We all
you
are.
do that any more or less.
Thank you.
I'm saying my fear is that you will do that because you have. Okay? And this is something I talked about in the last episode that I don't know when they air, so you'll figure it out. But this is something this is the next chapter for Mark, okay? That will make me a better husband for you and Evan. Is that my man crush?
Hey.
I love
Okay.
it. I love that.
Is
Go.
cringe, let's just label it cringe, is the thing I was going to say fear most. It's not fear. I give power to the most that it matters, and cringe, the thing of it, doesn't actually exist. It's not a thing. It's a perception of how others might be feeling that no one said. That's not to say people aren't uncomfortable, but the thing we call cringe, the cloud of cringe that we avoid like the plague, the thing that makes me manage you into a docile, subservient woman, we can only hope,
Never.
is not,
Never.
I am disapproving of your behavior. It's please don't drive our bus into the cringe, which is the cloud of death for me.
Understand.
That doesn't exist. Does that make sense?
100%.
It makes sense.
100%.
The
Yeah,
cloud
I think
of cringe.
the cloud of cringe.
Cringe governor.
You know
over
what's
here.
funny though too is that because the cringe, it freaks me out too, big time.
Me too, though.
But,
I don't want to feel that.
But you don't feel it. It's
I do.
When you're in it, you don't.
No,
you're
no.
like
That is not true.
I'm like, you're
I-
so in the cringe right now, and
No,
you're like,
no,
nah,
no.
this is great. Everybody
no.
loves this.
I want to
no,
see
no.
this in action.
I know, now I need to see it.
No, because you're not getting that from me at all, are you?
no.
Zero, but I want to. I want to.
you,
But you're not getting
Evan.
from him that he can be kind of say asshole things sometimes, right?
But the point is-
because
Kinda
it's not
grumpy.
true. I perceive it that way. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Most
because
everyone
the
else
cloud
is
of
having a
cringe
great-
doesn't
sometimes
actually
you can,
exist.
But like that's
Yeah.
the thing. And so I've been trying lately, and we've
I mean,
been
I would
talking about
say I
this even on
appreciate
our.
that, but I can.
I mean, but it's not often. But well, we've talked about this on our podcast.
Yeah.
I've been trying to lean into the cringe lately, and it's helped me a lot. I have tried to become the cringe queen and just really become like my musical theater over the top self and been like, who the fuck cares? And try to push hard against what I want. And it has helped me a lot.
I think that's exactly the remedy.
Yeah.
I think that's what you do naturally, and I don't do, is that I give the power to the thing. I can't rest until everyone's comfortable, but not what they're comfortable, what I think is their comfort.
Yeah.
And this fog of uncomfortable I cannot be with. And the power becomes with any problem. I've said this to my kids. When you've got a problem, it looks like a mountain, but it's inversely proportionate to physics. In physics, if you walk away from a mountain, it looks smaller, and if you walk closer, it looks bigger. But in life, when you run to the mountain of your problem, it gets smaller and sometimes actually isn't even there. But I don't practice that. So in the social situations, and these are the short hairs, because in the big stuff of life, we're really good. Yeah. We get bumped in the stupid, superficial stuff. Walking into a party. How are we being perceived as a couple by others? Calm the fuck down. Don't wear all of those things at the same time.
I know I wore the flowers even though I have stars on my jacket today.
What
Are
I'm-
you cringy about that? I didn't
No,
care
I-
this morning.
I'm
I'm
cringy at the
wearing,
passive-aggressive nature of you saying this to
I'm
me.
wearing the flowers. I'm wearing the stars. I don't give a shit.
God, I love you because.
But I made a choice.
You kind of like. I feel like you exist.
This is where you could be.
Well, first of all, yeah, I'm trying to get this energy.
self-work.
You have like a natural buzz in you, like it's coming out of you. That's like wild, and I'm so jealous of it. But I also
Really?
feel like
I
I'm
love
talking
that.
to like a Hollywood actress from like the 60s. And
You are.
You are.
I know,
That's
you
the fucking
are.
Right.
problem. You know how much money I
But
spent
you know
on
when
her
you watch-
therapy for that reason
You
alone?
are.
When I'm watching,
And,
dude,
Evan.
that's why we need to talk to you about Ember.
Yes.
To avoid this.
Evan, wait,
Yeah.
let him keep going.
No, I'm just saying.
This is good.
No, you literally are like when you watch like old movie starlets and they're like talking and they're like wistful and captivating and they kind of have this like dreamy nature to them. That is like you. It's like weird to me. I'm like, whoa, I'm watching that.
Wow.
like, and it's almost like you assume they're putting on an act. But then you're like, well, maybe you kind of they do exist in real life. Doesn't she give you that?
So now that you've acknowledged that, I'm going to come home and Robbie's going to be.
I love you.
Robbie's going to be in the mirror putting on makeup, smoking a cigarette. Darling, a cocktail's ready.
No, I love this. It's like,
wait. It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Because that's my background.
Because it's actually who you are.
Oh, okay.
That's my background.
Because you just seem like you have this like buzz of like we're alive and we're doing this, and like I'm very impressed by it, and also jealous of like, because I thought, which is weird. I was expecting, if I'm being honest, I was expecting someone else.
You were?
I was the big one.
I thought you were the big one.
I'm
because
the audience in this,
which is crazy because it's like you're so dynamic and so like full of life, and like you have you know all the right words to say, and you can connect with everyone. I was expecting you to be much more docile, much more relaxed, and you were kind of the bam.
Power
but your
couple.
smile, I'm going, wait, who's on?
Yeah,
like this is, I can't choose who's like,
but that is, I think, really the source of a lot of what my energy and anxiousness is. In fact, I know how to be that big dude, but mine is very not calculated. That sounds manipulative. It's I choose when and when not to. So there's me on the podcast with you guys and me having fun, and then there's when that period is over, I'm very quiet. I'm actually an introvert. When I finish a show on the road, I always talk about this. When I do these live shows, there are two different hosts. I'm doing it when I'm doing it, another guy's doing it. And when I'm done, if we're in a casino situation, let's say, I finish the show, I take off my suit as fast as I can, put a baseball cap on. I might go play some video poker or something, but I'm not looking to be seen.
Yeah.
Where other people in my business keep the clothes from the show on so that happens.
Yes.
But I'm not that.
No, you're not that. The point is, where
Anymore.
I appear to be...
God, she's incredible. Unreal.
But I'll tell you why.
Okay, Angel, if
You know what?
still are, it's okay.
Incredible. But I love, but
I'll tell you, I come by it honestly, and I'll tell you in a second after you, Jess.
No, I was just saying though. I think I feel the same way. I was expecting, like, because Mark is so dynamic, I was like, oh, I feel like Robbie is probably just going to be a little quieter and like,
woman.
and well, just like like just sitting back. And I'm like, the fact that you both are, and like you're saying, Mark is like Robbie's even like just like the constant buzz and the bright light. I feel like that leads to, it has to be it's going to be the most beautiful future for forever, because it's constantly like you're catching up with each other instead of like when you slip into that zone. I don't know. It feels like a horse race in the best way.
Wait, I have to say something very important here. When we first met, right? Mm-hmm. And I met your mom, who I loved and still love. I think she felt like, oh my goodness, Mark would never be with someone like Robbie because she's big, she's over the top, But what you guys don't know and what you all don't know is that... And
I may not know, and I'm a little scared. This is the cloud of cringe happening. Go ahead.
No. This is truth. This is truth.
Okay.
When we met, I was a year and a half clean and sober, and I was on a roller coaster. And the little girl that lives in me, who used to do an off-Broadway show my whole childhood in New York, was running the show. You know, God sent you to me, and we have, like, I am not the same girl that I was when we met.
This is what I was going to get to.
So,
and I'm not the same guy.
Your mom didn't know that. Like, you know, I had this big outside and this big personality, and now it's true. You know, I am sunshine in a bottle. Kidding. But Mark,
I don't think you're kidding. I mean, I feel like you are.
You are.
Well, thank you, but I've done the inside work.
Sure,
hold on.
And you've helped me.
Yes, thank you.
And I couldn't be.
And you, me, but
I couldn't be me without you.
This is the part that we can't overlook in this conversation.
I keep wanting to hold your hand or hold my hand.
Boundaries.
This is big stuff, Mark.
I got you. All that dynamic thing you're talking about lives in two worlds, and this is really important, couples, because what you're seeing, this, my energy, her energy, bigger than the room, all that stuff, there's some healthy, enviable stuff about that. But we've also seen that same energy when you turn the magnet around. I always talk about the magnet, and magnets attract, but if you turn it the other way, they push. So the dark version of me is as dark as the light version of me appears to you. And the dark version of this
baby.
is black hole level. Now here's the takeaway.
The duality of life.
Yeah, right.
But here's the takeaway.
Oh my God.
Hey, pay attention. Here's the takeaway in that. That's true for all of us, but where you young couples come to me asking, how do I keep love and how does it work, is that unless you show that and be accepted by your partner in the dark, you cannot manage a coupledom. You're not going to give them the shot of all the stuff that's awesome, and then when the darkness comes, pretend it doesn't exist, because that's when he goes out and drinking with the guys, and she takes tennis lessons, and then we don't talk, and we come home at night and we open a bottle of Chardonnay, and nothing gets spoken about. So what we have that is not particularly, it's not something I advise, is that I always say we have a full contact marriage. When I'm dark and can't get off the couch, not indica couch from indica, but like other deeper shit, or you go to the other version of this energy.
Like I need to die.
Neither of us get scared.
I can't do this. I can't.
Neither of us get scared and run away. So we have to sit in it.
Well, you know what? Someone at J. Crew.
How does that come in?
The woman at J. Crew, literally 2 days ago, said, "How long have you been married?" And I said, "Well, 36 years, and we met, and And she says, "Well, God, what's the secret?" And I said, besides the fact that we love each other and that we like each other and we laugh and all that stuff, is the lessons of life never stop coming, and I don't want to learn them with anybody else than you.
That's not
and
my
a lot
answer
of
to that
people.
question.
A lot of people think, "Oh, I can't do this," and they get divorced. And what they don't realize is that, wherever you go, there you are, and you're just going to bring yourself to the next person and the next person and the next person. And so
that's the point I was making in relationship. That
through
you guys
thick
have
and
figured
thin,
out.
through thick and thin, I don't want to learn them with anybody else other than you.
It sounds like you're setting up now a musical number that would happen. I don't want to learn with anyone but you.
Put on your Sunday clothes. Da, 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 da.
You know the thing that makes people hate musical theater? Hold on. The thing that makes people hate musical theater, like my friend Mark DiCarlo and others, is that people don't naturally break out into song in the middle of an emotional thing. Hold on. Robbie expects that to actually happen. She's actually hearing that. And I'm going to let you know that you're raising... This is what... we got to wrap this up. I keep saying I want to go to this episode, but we can't do that now because I have a meeting today. Can't even tell you about. Very exciting.
Woo-hoo.
That's why my hair looks so good.
It is looking
Clean.
quite good today.
Hard for me to say, but doesn't it look good?
Soaking it.
This is my color.
Yeah.
This is so fun. We
I
have so
love...
much.
I know. I'm like...
Please let me say...
Go.
That one of the things I can't wait to have you back, if you'll ever return,
Are you kidding?
to listen to us talk and not ask you any questions, is to talk about this child you're raising. And here's what I want to tell you, okay? And I'm going to wrap this up. Let me just say this. So Robbie has shared a little bit about her child actor experience. Some of it was great. Some of it has
Very little.
Please
let me.
Robbie, I
share
don't
it.
have time. I got to do this. I got to do the short version, not the Robbie version.
Okay, we'll talk.
Okay. But Robbie has both a dark and a light experience with that. To the point where when Robbie sees other children singing and dancing, there's a predisposition of, right? Because of the danger.
Because you're like, there's the audition.
So what I want
How
to
old is that kid?
So I want to.
She's 4.
She's not even tapping.
Yeah.
I was working at 6.5.
Yeah,
please.
I was
this girl's always
working.
smoking a cigarette. But here's what I want to tell you. Oh my God, let me get this out because I have to go.
Nobody's stopping you.
You are stopping me because I'm imposing that on you. That's not actually happening, but that's my truth. I saw the clip of Ember singing. Was it "Don't Rain on My Parade"?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. First of all, if you watch Idol, that's a song you don't pull off unless you're Leah Michele or Barbara Streisand because it's not easy. and I watched it. Now, I'm quick to give it to children who do great work. I love that. I have no trigger there. Robbie, on the other hand, is like, yeah, fuck her. You know?
Yeah, right.
But I made her watch this, and she was like, I don't. And Robbie,
okay,
we were blown away.
When he said you have to watch it, I was like, I had to write about it in my journal first because
you got to process.
Like, sure.
I was like,
just get to
I
the
don't
point
want
of what you said about
I don't want to
Amber.
watch it, and then I watched it, and I went, she's got it.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's
she's got it.
But let me tell you the healthy part of what
careful.
you got.
Oh yeah, we want to talk about because trust and believe. Mom and Dad over here
He's
were
pulling
like
me back again.
No, but mom
so I can see.
and Dad are like we feel it, and she loves it. But we're like, honey bunny, you can do your theater classes in your local theater, and when you're a grown up, then you will have.
Thank you for
have
that.
practiced and been with your friends doing it, and then you dive into it there. But
I just wanted to give this to you. Hold on. I got to wrap it up. This is me trying to wrap it up. Where you like to, even in telephone calls where I go, I say to Robbie, all right, I'll talk to you later. And that means start a new topic. It's true. Let me give you some peace from our observation. Having raised 2 champions, we make champions with this.
yeah,
Okay.
I know. I can tell.
Okay. I did. First of all, I want to acknowledge what you said about that. But I also want to put your mind at ease because what I witnessed, and Robbie could corroborate, is what I witnessed in Ember was a wholesome, pure, unadulterated, unpretentious joy and self-confidence in what she was doing. In other words, she's not singing for you to hear her. She's not performing because someone said it would be cool to be a star. She didn't watch I Don't Say I Want to Be That because of the trappings. She inherently, old soul, has a joy that, despite your words, has to do it.
She loves it more than anything
and
in the world.
it may be temporary, but I want you to go to sleep at night knowing that what we saw was 100% pure. It's the exact healthy version of that person that you can now nurture.
That means a lot.
Separately,
so let her have
wickedly talented.
So let her have a ball, but the whole golden nugget that I've learned, and now, unfortunately, and we don't really have time to do this, but I have to.
No, because that was me closing it out.
I have to say this. This is gold.
Okay, gold.
Give the gold.
I had to learn you're not what you do, or you're not what you did. That's not who you are. And then, unfortunately, I passed it along to my daughter, and she was a professional ballerina, and now her YouTube channel is the Lazy Ballerina Club, where her whole thing is be human first.
Yeah.
But that's
and now her story. It's my story.
But what I'm saying,
but it's her story, and that's the whole thing.
Okay.
Is you're not what you do.
Yeah.
Good gold. The point I'm getting to, it's good gold.
Yeah.
I'm not discounting what you said matters, but what I'm saying I observe as a layperson is exactly that. It's not all of who she is. Fashion is what she likes. There's a lot of stuff. She is a human first and this.
Yes.
And that, I think, is the healthiest incarnation of what you're witnessing, and that you're enjoying it in a healthy place. But it also, and this is closing this episode. I'm closing it now.
Okay.
Okay. Is that it's a testament to you two to create a child unafraid to self-express. That's the bed you made for that flower to bloom. And all children inherently have that. But instantly, parents put shade on that plant. The props, the flowers I'm giving you, Evan, and you, Jess, is that what I'm witnessing as a father, that we've witnessed as parents, is that you have made a fertile garden for a child to be unafraid to be self-expressed without precociousness and self-absorption, with compassion. That's what I'm observing. That's what I really wanted to talk to you about today. And I love you both for doing that, because as we get older, literally in this episode, Amber is going to be running the show. And I'll live in her world.
Oh.
Oh.
That means
Okay?
a lot.
That's it. Jess, Evan, next time when you come on, we'll let you speak.
Oh, are you kidding me?
This
This
was
was,
so
I am
nice.
so full with joy right
Oh
now.
my gosh, you guys are incredible.
I love this.
Love you both.
I
I'm so
love you
glad.
guys. I'm so glad to finally meet you and
Same.
you.
You're amazing.
Yummy and delicious is
In the
true.
bio again.
I'm going to remain here in the cloud of cringe.
No.
It doesn't exist, but only for me.
No
way.
cringe.
Hey, thank you guys for watching. If you want to learn more about this couple that I hold in high esteem, you need to watch and listen to Your Mom and Dad podcast. They are literally inspirations for me to do what I'm doing and support of me, and vice versa. Now I hope you feel, and so make sure you
Absolutely.
check them out because it's great. And then please check me out because I'm lonely, and
No.
this is like the only place I have to go.
Oh,
Because
stop.
if I go home, she's gonna make me do things. Robbie, thank you. Thank you for being on the show, and I'm learning how to let you be you. I'm learning how to let you be you. It still makes me uncomfortable.
Oh, no, not true.
100% true. See you next time.